Hi guys, I wanted to go ahead and just record myself going over some of the elements of class today for those that aren't able to join the live session. So for our agenda, we'll briefly review the argumentative essay goals. There is a video embedded into this PowerPoint, and it's super important that you watch this video in its entirety. It's not very long, but it's a great video to help you guys see how to write an effective introduction. So I'm going to go over some takeaways of the video. I'm not going to play it for you in this recording because I don't have the time in this free video recording app. But you need to watch that in your own time, and it's super helpful. I'm going to go over some pieces of a sample introduction, and then your work session today, the bulk of class today, is focusing on you guys actually writing your introduction paragraph for your essay. So we are trying to learn how to write an effective hook and write a strong claim or thesis statement. Those are our big goals today. So remember, yesterday in class we went over the rubric, so you do have access to that on our matrix and in CTLS. But essentially you're being graded on your ability to construct and defend an argument, effectively integrate quotes from a variety of sources, identify and refute a counter-argument, and maintain a clarity of conventions. Now, we will be working on quotes, integrating them next week, starting on Monday. So right now, you already should have chosen a topic, you've got all of your sources found, and you've outlined your essay. Your essay was due at the beginning of class today. So now we've got to get from that outline to an actual essay. And sometimes things are going to have to change, and that's okay. Like sometimes what you put in your outline isn't going to be able to remain exactly as it was. We might have to make some tweaks and adjust some things, and that's okay. The outline is a great starting place for us to move forward from there. Here's our timeline. So today we're working on introductions. Monday we'll work on embedding quotes. Tuesday, we'll focus on completing our body paragraphs. Wednesday will be about conclusions, which includes counter arguments and rebuttals. And then Thursday will be a day for peer editing. Please remember that peer editing will be a grade. So on Thursday, March 25th, you will have to have a completed draft of your essay. The final paper, which you will have tweaked and made all of the adjustments based on your peer editing suggestions, will be due Friday by midnight, and that's next Friday, the 26th. So this is the video that I was referring to. I think it's a great video. I would make my own, except this one already exists, and it's pretty great. She does a great job of showing also how you're going to move from something like an outline to writing the essay itself. So again, I think it's very helpful for depicting all of the different ways that your writing may shift and how you can use that outline to your advantage. There are a few takeaways that I want to make sure that we talk about. One of them, I need you to know, is about hooks. So one of the categories on our rubric, the first category, is about your introduction, and we are looking for you to use what are called like advanced hooks. So these are three examples that she discusses in the video. So she talks about leading with a shocking statement, which could also be a fact. So if in your research you found something that is shocking that you could convey to the reader that would make them be like, wait, what? Or just make them surprised, that would be an excellent way to start. Remember that you would have to cite this fact from a source. So you can't just drop in a statistic, or you can't just make some, shocking statement if it needs to be cited from a source. You could also start with a rhetorical question, and we talked about these back when we did print advertisements and commercials. Rhetorical questions are when you pose a question to your reader, and they're not meant to actually answer it, but it's meant to inspire them to think. So when we looked at print advertisements, that one image that was the tuna fish wearing a panda mask, it asked the rhetorical question, would you care more if I was a panda? And we talked about how that was meant to make the audience feel guilty, right? So usually these questions are meant to inspire surprise, guilt, something in the reader. What we want to stay away from here, what would not be an advanced level hook, is to use something like, have you ever wondered, fill in the blank. Or imagine that you are, those are elementary hooks at this point. We're 10th grade honors students and we need to kind of be able to move beyond that. So those would not be good hooks for us to use. A rhetorical question that makes the audience think, on the other hand, is a great way to start the paper. And the last one is kind of my favorite, a pathos-driven description where it creates some imagery for the reader. In the video, she talks about the pier and the sharks and there being blood in the water. So there's a lot of imagery that she's building in describing what this scenario looks like. You could do something like that as well. That's often super powerful. Pathos is a great way to draw in readers. So that's the third, more advanced option for hooks. And then thinking about introductions in general. So like I said, it's okay. It's totally normal if you have to make changes from your outline. Your outline was a starting place. It's not necessarily the end all be all, okay? And one thing I'm going to be doing today is reaching out to you on Remind if there's anything that I'm noticing in your outlines that I think we need to address before you write your paper. I don't want anybody to be on the wrong track and not know it. So I will reach out to you if I see some red flags there. The last thing is that after you have gotten to the bottom of your introduction paragraph, we're looking for you to have a strong claim statement. And remember, this is where you get across your opinion on your topic, your argument. When we say strong, we mean it needs to be definitive what side of the argument you are on. The reader should not at all question what your stance is. What is your opinion on your topic? It should be incredibly clear. And the way you're going to do that is by using strong language. So strong adjectives, strong verbs. Maybe if I'm researching something about social media, maybe I want to say something like, social media, although it has its benefits, is dangerous to teens and young adults who are using it regularly, whatever. So me saying it is dangerous, that is my opinion. That is my claim that I'm going to prove in the rest of my paper. And I'm being clear about it in my strong topic or claim statement. Okay. So this is a sample introduction, and this is someone writing about energy drinks. So there's a couple interesting things that they do to make this argument strong, even in their introduction. So first thing you'll notice is this is an MLA style. You are going to be writing an MLA style as well. And there is a template that I'm providing to you so that you can do all of these things well. This is the header where we have the student's name, the teacher's name, the class name, and then the date. And up here we have a header with our last name and page number. So this is how you set up the MLA style. If you use the template, it's all done for you and you just have to type these things in. You're going to have a title. Sometimes I wait until the end to title my paper. It just depends because sometimes I have to wait until I've finished the whole thing to come up with a clever title. But this is a great example of a clever title because this is actually working as a hook itself, a drinking problem. Immediately I'm like, oh, okay, this is about like alcoholism, like maybe. And then when I read the first sentence, I'm like, oh, wait, what? This isn't about alcohol. This is about energy drinks. And I'm like, a drinking problem? What's going on here? What's happening? So as the reader, I'm kind of intrigued and maybe want to know more. Okay. So if we look at this first sentence, which is the hook of this paper, it says, downing a Monster or Red Bull energy drink brings a welcomed buzz to many teens, but the harmful long-term consequences of these beverages are simply too numerous and frightening to ignore. So there's some great things happening here. We are getting a picture. There's a bit of imagery going on here. Downing an energy drink, a welcomed buzz, right? So I'm imagining that word downing helps make me think of someone like chugging an energy drink, right? And then that welcomed buzz, that's some terminology that's actually linking back to this drinking problem. There's kind of a pun going on here that, I'm getting the same sort of high from energy drinks that I would from alcohol. And then we're getting into something that's making me, some pathos-driven language that's making me want to know more about this topic. So there are harmful long-term consequences to these beverages, and they are numerous and frightening. So this word frightening, harmful, numerous, all of these are some great pathos-driven language to help me be like, wait, I didn't know energy drinks had long-term consequences. Like, I've had a Monster in my lifetime. What does that mean for me? Am I going to be sick or what? So I need to know more. So then they transition into what's called a paraphrase. A paraphrase is where you take ideas from a source that you read. You don't quote directly from that source, so there's not literally a line from the source that you want to use, but you're thinking more about summarizing what that source had to say. And I still have to cite it. So you'll notice here at the end of the sentence is a citation. So I'm still citing any paraphrasing that I do, but you'll just notice there aren't any actual quotes here. Due to the health risks that accompany these drinks, many communities from Los Angeles to Chicago have considered laws banning the sale of energy drinks to people under the age of 18. So this next sentence is helping me establish some context for my reader. I'm letting them realize that there are actual cities that are considering banning these drinks because of the health risks. So I'm linking back to my first sentence where I'm talking about harmful long-term consequences that are frightening and we can't ignore them. There are actual states that are considering banning them, and I'm citing where I got that information because I read about this while I was researching my paper. So I've got to cite where that came from. Here's my strong claim. Such laws are wise and should be approved throughout the nation because these products bring far more harm than good to teen consumers. So there is no question what this author thinks. This author thinks that we need laws, that we maybe need to ban these drinks, and we need to ban them across the nation. That is a strong claim. And they're also giving a reason why they feel this way, because these products bring far more harm than good. So your claim statement should make it clear what side you're on and a reason why you feel that way. Sometimes people preview the reasons that they're going to use in the rest of their paper. So sometimes, since you have 3 body paragraphs, sometimes people will list 3 reasons as a way to sort of roadmap the rest of their essay. That's a great way to do it too. In this case, this is just summarizing that there's harm that these products bring. And the rest of this paper, each paragraph would focus on different types of harm of energy drinks. Okay, so that's an example for you. So today, by the end of class, you should have your introduction paragraph written. For a strong paragraph, we need to have like 5 to 7 sentences. That example one was only 3, so it's really too short to function as a introduction. We need to have 5 to 7 sentences. So some other ways that you might add sentences would be to give some more context about what's going on with your topic. You could go ahead, if I were talking about energy drinks, I could go ahead and talk about what are the contents of an energy drink that are dangerous. Or I could go ahead and give some statistics about how many energy drinks are sold daily, the most popular types of energy drinks. I could do a lot of things to help sort of define things for my reader before I get into those harmful reasons why I think it should be banned. There is a template that I've made, provided it's in lesson resources for today. It's on our course matrix. I'm going to be dropping it in the chat if you were in the live session. That is what I would use to type directly into so that all of your MLA header and spacing and everything is already taken care of for you, and you don't have to really do much to get all of that correct. And basically next class, we're going to focus on the body paragraph. So you should have your introduction finished. We will be able to move into how do I take actual quotes from my sources and actually insert them into my writing? How do I integrate them successfully? And we'll talk about making sure we're citing our sources properly, both in text and on a works cited page at the end of the paper. And that is our class for today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and be sure to reach out to me on Remind if you have questions about writing your introduction. Otherwise, I will see you guys on Monday.